Good morning, everyone, and welcome to a moment that can transform the rest of your day. Have you ever thought about how powerful the first few moments of your morning can be? Today, we are going to step into a space of divine connection, where prayer is not just words, but a key to unlock God's presence and blessings. Imagine walking through your day with favor, protection, and clarity guiding every step. Are you ready to begin your morning not just awake, but truly alive in purpose and power? Good morning, and let me ask you something. Have you ever woken up feeling tired, rushed, or overwhelmed and wondered if there was a way to truly start your day with purpose? What if I told you that the very first moments of your morning can set the tone for the entire day? That a simple act of connecting with the divine can open doors you never thought possible and can bring peace, clarity, and favor into every situation you will face. Imagine just for a moment waking up and instead of immediately checking your phone, your emails, or the news, you pause, you breathe, and you lift your heart in prayer. That pause, that deliberate act is more than routine. It is the moment you invite heaven to meet you, to guide your steps, and to establish your day in alignment with your purpose. When you start your day in divine alignment, you are not just asking for blessings, you are positioning yourself to recognize opportunities, to avoid pitfalls, and to walk in a path that has been prepared for you. Prayer at the start of your day is not a casual whisper. It is a declaration that says, I will not walk alone today. I will not be moved by chaos. I will not be defeated by circumstances, for I am covered by a presence greater than anything I can face. And as you speak life over your day, as you acknowledge the hand of God moving in your life, something remarkable happens. Your mind becomes sharper, your heart becomes lighter, and your spirit begins to resonate with peace that surpasses understanding. Think about it. How often do people rush through their mornings, hoping to get everything done, only to realize by noon that the day has run them, instead of them running the day? That is why starting in divine alignment is different. It is intentional. It is purposeful. It is a spiritual strategy that guarantees your day begins on the right frequency, a frequency of success, favor, and divine timing. And it doesn't matter what challenges lie ahead. The moment you begin with prayer, you are already ahead. But here is the most important part. When you commit to inviting God's presence every morning, you will notice doors opening, situations shifting, and relationships being restored in ways that cannot be explained by mere human effort. You will see that the difference between a day filled with frustration and a day filled with joy often begins in the quiet moments of your morning, in the choice to align yourself with the power that is greater than you. And now, as we reflect on starting our day in divine alignment, one question remains. How do we not just start our day with prayer, but maintain this connection throughout the challenges and distractions that will surely come? That is where the true power begins, and it is what we will uncover next. Have you ever wondered what it truly means to invite heaven into your morning? Not just to say a few words, not just to follow a routine, but to intentionally create a space where the divine presence moves freely in your life. Imagine, just for a moment, that every breath you take in the first hour of your day could align you with wisdom, protection, and favor that nothing on earth can challenge. When you consciously invite God's presence into your morning, you are doing more than speaking words. You are opening a door that allows blessings, guidance, and opportunities to enter your life in ways you cannot imagine. Consider this: the world is filled with noise, distractions, and pressures that demand your attention the moment you wake. Yet, when you pause, when you focus your heart in prayer, you are creating a spiritual atmosphere that nothing can penetrate without your permission. You are declaring that your day will not be ordinary, that your day will not be shaped by fear or frustration, but by divine purpose. And it is in this intentional act that miracles begin to unfold. Doors that were closed yesterday start to open. Challenges that seemed impossible start to dissolve, and clarity replaces confusion. Think about how easy it is to start the day with worry, anxiety, or doubt. Now imagine replacing that fear with faith, that confusion with clarity, that heaviness with peace. Inviting heaven into your morning does not guarantee that problems will disappear, but it guarantees that you will not face them alone. It gives you the power to rise above circumstances, to see opportunities where others see obstacles, and to walk in a favor that defies human logic. Your mind becomes alert to solutions, your spirit becomes sensitive to guidance, and your heart is filled with a confidence that carries you through every encounter. And here is something profound. When you invite God's presence first, everything else falls into perspective. Your priorities become clear, your relationships gain harmony, and your decisions align with a higher wisdom. You begin to notice that the simple act of starting your day with prayer is not just about asking. It is about receiving the strategies, the insight, and the favor that positions you ahead of every challenge. But here is a question to reflect on. How often do we start our morning with heaven's presence and then allow the world to steal that peace? How do we carry this divine connection into every hour, every interaction, and every decision we make? That is the next step, and it is where true transformation begins. Have you ever stopped to think about the true power of a morning prayer? Not just as a habit, not just as words you speak, but as a force that can shape your entire day, your entire destiny. A morning prayer is more than a ritual. It is a declaration of faith, a statement to the universe and to your own heart that you are choosing to walk in alignment with the divine, that you are inviting God's wisdom, protection, and blessings to guide every step you take. When you pray in the morning, you are not asking for luck. You are claiming authority over your day, over your decisions, and over the circumstances that will try to define you. Think about this for a moment. How often do people wake up and immediately react to life instead of responding from a place of purpose? They rush into tasks, obligations, and challenges without first centering themselves in prayer. And as a result, they operate from confusion, fear, or stress. But when you make a morning prayer the first thing you do, everything changes. Your mind is sharpened, your heart is calmed, and your spirit is empowered to recognize opportunities, to discern choices, and to navigate life with divine guidance. Prayer transforms the ordinary moments of your morning into a strategic launch pad for success, favor, and clarity. And consider this, a morning prayer is not only about what you ask for, it is about who you become in the process. It shapes your attitude, it molds your perspective, and it strengthens your faith to face whatever the day may bring. It prepares you to walk in integrity, to speak life, to make decisions that honor your purpose, and to encounter challenges with confidence rather than fear. Each word you speak in prayer is like planting seeds, seeds of protection, seeds of provision, seeds of divine guidance that will grow and bear fruit throughout your day. Here is the truth many people overlook. The power of a morning prayer is not limited to the moment you pray. Its effects ripple outward, influencing your work, your relationships, your decisions, and even the atmosphere around you. It creates a shield against negativity, a pathway for clarity, and an invitation for blessings that are beyond your comprehension. It is the difference between walking into your day with uncertainty and walking into your day with purpose, direction, and favor. But now, I must ask you this: if a morning prayer holds this much power over your day, how do you ensure that it is not just a fleeting moment, but a continuous influence that guides you from dawn until dusk? How do you maintain that connection with God so that His presence is not just invited, but sustained, even in the midst of challenges, distractions, and interruptions. That is what we will explore next, and it is where the real breakthrough begins. Have you ever stopped to consider how awakening your day with God's presence can completely transform not just your morning, but your entire life? It is not enough to merely rise from sleep and move through the motions of routine. True power begins when you intentionally invite the divine into your first waking moments, allowing a presence greater than yourself to guide, protect, and inspire you. When you wake with purpose, with prayer, and with an awareness of God's presence, the ordinary becomes extraordinary, and the challenges that once seemed insurmountable suddenly appear manageable. Think about this. Every day, people face decisions, pressures, and situations that can overwhelm the mind and heart. Yet, when you begin your day with God's presence, you are anchored in a power that no circumstance can shake. You gain clarity that surpasses understanding, wisdom that outlasts human reasoning, and peace that remains even in the middle of chaos. The moment you speak life over your day, the moment you declare God's guidance and protection, you are no longer reacting to the world. You are responding with divine insight, with strategy, and with confidence that comes from knowing that you are aligned with your purpose. And here is the critical point. Awakening your day with God's presence is not just about starting your day. It is about shaping your character, your decisions, and your interactions throughout the day. It is about setting a spiritual tone that influences everything you do, everyone you meet, and every circumstance you encounter. Your mind becomes alert to opportunities, your spirit becomes sensitive to direction, and your heart carries a calmness that radiates into your environment. People notice the difference when you start your day with purpose, because your energy, your focus, and your attitude reflect a source of power that cannot be ignored. Consider this: how often do we allow our mornings to be rushed, distracted, or filled with anxiety, only to carry that same energy into the rest of the day? But when you begin intentionally with God's presence, even the unexpected challenges become opportunities for growth, creativity, and breakthrough. You begin to understand that your day is not just a series of tasks or obligations. It is a platform for divine intervention, for favor, and for strategic alignment with your destiny. Every decision, every action, every word spoken in such a state carries weight and impact far beyond what is visible to the human eye. But now I must ask you, if the power of awakening with God's presence can set the trajectory for your day, how do you maintain this awareness and connection as the hours unfold, when distractions, doubts, and pressures try to pull you away from your alignment? How do you remain anchored in this divine presence so that it continues to shape your day, your decisions, and your destiny? That is the next revelation, and it is where your breakthrough truly begins. Have you ever paused to think about what it means to claim God's blessings from the very beginning of your day? Most people wake up and wait for life to happen to them, reacting to circumstances, responding to problems, and hoping for favor by chance. But there is a secret that few understand. Blessings are not accidental. They are claimed through intentional alignment with the divine. When you begin your day by declaring God's favor over your life, over your work, over your relationships, and over your decisions, you are stepping into a spiritual reality where heaven's resources become available to you. You are not waiting for luck. You are positioning yourself to receive what is already promised, what is already yours by divine authority. Think about this: the morning is a window of opportunity, a time when the spiritual atmosphere of your day can be set. If you rise and pray, if you speak life and claim favor, you are sending a signal into the spiritual realm that you are ready, you are aligned, and you are prepared to walk in victory. Favor is not just about luck or chance. It is about positioning. It is about declaration. It is about authority. When you speak blessings over your day, when you invite God's presence into every decision and interaction, you are effectively shaping your reality. The challenges that would normally bring fear or hesitation are now opportunities for divine intervention, for wisdom, and for provision. And here is what most people overlook. Claiming blessings is not a one-time act. It is a mindset, a discipline, a deliberate way of living. Every word you speak in the morning, every prayer, every declaration of God's favor is planting seeds that will bear fruit throughout your day. Your mindset becomes sharper, your decisions become clearer, and your steps begin to align with opportunities that others cannot even see. You begin to notice doors opening, situations shifting, and people responding in ways that confirm the power of starting your day with intention. Consider this: how many mornings have been wasted by worry, by fear, by doubt, simply because the presence of God was not invited first. But when you claim His blessings at the start of your day, you walk into life differently. You carry authority over circumstances. You walk in protection over your mind and spirit, and you see the ordinary become extraordinary. Your energy, your focus, and your influence are elevated because your day was designed to begin under the guidance of a higher power. But now, let me ask you, if claiming God's blessings can position your day for victory, how do you ensure that those blessings are not only received, but maintained, cultivated, and multiplied as the day progresses? How do you remain in constant alignment even when distractions, pressures, and challenges come to test your faith? That is the doorway to the next revelation, and it is where your true transformation begins. Have you ever asked yourself why some people seem to flow through their day with purpose, clarity, and favor, while others struggle to keep up, caught in confusion, stress, and missed opportunities? The difference is not talent, not luck, not circumstance. It is how they begin their day, setting the tone for a purpose-filled day begins the moment you wake up. It begins with intentionality, with prayer, and with a conscious decision to invite God's presence to guide every step. When you start your day aligned with the divine, you are not just surviving the day. You are mastering it, shaping it, and walking it with authority that others will notice. Think about this. Every morning, you are given a fresh canvas, a new opportunity to determine the outcome of your day. Will it be filled with frustration, worry, and distractions? Or will it be filled with clarity, focus, and divine favor? The answer lies in how you begin. When you set the tone for a purpose-filled day, you are not leaving your life to chance. You are declaring that your day will be productive, that your interactions will be meaningful, and that your decisions will reflect wisdom far beyond your own understanding. You are creating a spiritual environment that attracts opportunities, alignment, and guidance. And here is the critical point. The tone you set in the morning carries energy into every interaction, every challenge, and every decision. Your attitude becomes a magnet for possibilities. Your words shape outcomes, and your presence influences the environment around you. When you intentionally dedicate your morning to connecting with God, praying, and speaking life over your day, you are essentially programming your spirit to respond with clarity, confidence, and courage. You are not just preparing yourself for tasks. You are preparing yourself to walk in favor, to operate in purpose, and to leave a legacy with every action you take. Consider this. How often do people start their day distracted, overwhelmed, or anxious, only to let the world dictate their pace and outcomes? But when you take control of your morning, when you set the tone with prayer, reflection, and alignment, you are in command of your day. Challenges become opportunities, delays become lessons, and relationships become channels of blessing and influence. Your day no longer controls you. You control your day. But now, Let me ask you this. If setting the tone for a purpose-filled day can influence everything you do, how do you sustain that tone throughout the hours ahead when the pressures, distractions, and unexpected events threaten to pull you off course? How do you ensure that the momentum of a purposeful morning carries through to every decision, every interaction, and every outcome? That is where the next revelation lies, and it is where your breakthrough continues. Have you ever noticed that some people seem to move through life with ease, achieving victory even in situations that would overwhelm others? The secret is not luck, talent, or timing. It is the intentional practice of harnessing spiritual power at the start of each day. The morning is not just a time to wake. It is a sacred window to prepare your spirit, to align your mind, and to position your life for success. Morning secrets of spiritual victory are hidden in the moments when you pause, when you pray, when you declare God's guidance and protection over every area of your life. These are the moments that determine whether your day will be ordinary or extraordinary. Think about this. How often do people wake up and immediately respond to the demands of life without first establishing a connection with the divine? They react to emails, phone calls, traffic, and deadlines. And by the time they are fully engaged, the spiritual alignment of their day has already been lost. But when you harness the power of a morning prayer, when you intentionally invite God into your first thoughts and decisions, you are stepping into authority. You are not just asking for help. You are activating divine favor, strategy, and wisdom that surpasses human understanding. The challenges that would normally bring fear or doubt now become opportunities for insight, creativity, and victory. And here is the most important truth. Harnessing spiritual power in the morning is not about doing more. It is about doing right. It is about starting your day in alignment with purpose, in harmony with destiny, and in obedience to divine instruction. Each word spoken, each moment spent in reflection and prayer is a seed planted that will grow throughout the day. Your mind becomes sharp, your heart becomes steadfast, and your spirit becomes sensitive to guidance that others may miss. You begin to notice patterns, solutions, and doors opening that could never be achieved by effort alone. Consider this: victory is not an accident. It is not a matter of chance or circumstance. Victory begins when you take control of your morning, when you rise with intention, and when you invite heaven to participate in your day. This is how ordinary days become extraordinary, how small efforts produce monumental results, and how challenges transform into opportunities for growth and advancement. Your day no longer controls you, your spirit leads, and everything else follows. But now, I must ask you, if the morning holds the secret to spiritual victory, how do you ensure that this power continues to flow, even when the distractions, setbacks, and pressures of the day try to pull you off course? How do you maintain this momentum so that victory is not just a morning moment, but an all-day experience? That is where the next revelation begins, and it is where the true transformation of your day is revealed. Have you ever wondered why some people seem to attract favor effortlessly, while others struggle despite their efforts? The difference is not in talent, not in education, and not in circumstance. It is in how they begin their day. Harnessing God's favor before the sun rises is not just a spiritual cliché. It is a deliberate strategy, a choice to invite divine alignment, protection, and opportunity into every moment of your life. When you position yourself in the early hours to receive favor, you are creating a momentum that the rest of the day cannot resist. You are essentially saying, I will walk under heaven's guidance, I will operate in wisdom, and I will experience success that exceeds human calculation. Think about this. Every day begins with a spiritual atmosphere, and that atmosphere can be filled with either opportunity or obstacles, blessing or struggle. When you intentionally rise with prayer, reflection, and declaration, you are shaping that atmosphere. You are programming your spirit to recognize doors that open, to attract people who will align with your purpose, and to navigate challenges with divine insight. Favor is not random. It is a response to alignment, intention, and obedience. The moment you speak life over your day, the moment you claim God's favor, you are positioning yourself for breakthroughs that others may never see coming. And here is the critical point: favor works in ways that are beyond human reasoning. It opens doors that seem locked. It creates opportunities where none exist. And it shifts circumstances in your favor even before you have fully engaged the challenges of your day. But favor is not passive. It requires action. It requires that you rise with purpose, that you speak life over your responsibilities, and that you move with confidence, knowing that God's hand is guiding your steps. Every decision, every interaction, and every opportunity you encounter is influenced by the favor you have invited into your morning. Consider this: how often do people wake up and face the day unprepared, unaware that their lack of intention in the early hours determines their experience for the rest of the day? But when you harness God's favor before the sun rises, you step into a space where challenges are neutralized, opportunities are amplified, and your presence carries weight that impacts not just your life, but the lives of those around you. Your day becomes not a series of coincidences, but a series of divinely orchestrated events. But now, I must ask you, if harnessing favor early in the morning can shape the trajectory of your day, how do you sustain that favor when pressures, distractions, and unexpected trials try to pull you away from alignment? How do you maintain the momentum so that the rest of your day continues under the influence of divine guidance and advantage? That is the next revelation, and it is where true breakthrough begins. Have you ever realized that prayer is not just a ritual, but a gateway to clarity, guidance, protection, and success? Many people treat prayer as a habit, a routine they rush through before diving into the demands of the day. But when you understand prayer as the gateway to daily success, everything changes. It becomes a tool, a strategy, and a powerful alignment with the divine that positions your mind, your spirit, and your life for victory. Each morning, the choice is yours. Will you step through this gateway with intention, or will you allow the day to shape you, leaving you reactive instead of proactive? Think about this. The very first moments of your day are critical. What you speak, what you meditate on, and what you declare in those early hours set the trajectory for every decision, every interaction, and every outcome. Prayer is more than asking. It is positioning. It is declaring that God's wisdom will guide your choices, that His favor will accompany your efforts, and that your steps will align with purpose. When you enter your day through this spiritual gateway, you are not leaving your circumstances to chance. You are walking with authority, clarity, and a confidence that cannot be shaken by temporary setbacks or human limitations. And here is the profound truth: the gateway of prayer does not only prepare you for challenges, it opens your eyes to opportunities. Doors that seemed closed yesterday begin to open. Ideas that were hidden in your mind now become strategies in your hands. People respond differently when they encounter you because the atmosphere around you has shifted, and you carry a spiritual authority that draws blessings, insight, and favor. Success is not an accident. It is the natural outcome of stepping intentionally into the gateway of prayer each morning. Consider this: how often do we start our day with distractions, noise, and worry, only to find ourselves overwhelmed by noon? But when prayer becomes the gateway, your focus is sharpened, your priorities are aligned, and your spirit becomes sensitive to guidance that others cannot perceive. You begin to move in rhythm with divine timing, and even challenges that seem unavoidable are transformed into lessons, breakthroughs, and stepping stones toward your purpose. Your day no longer controls you. You control your day through the intentional choice of entering this gateway. But now, let me ask you, if prayer is truly the gateway to success, how do you ensure that you remain in this gateway throughout your day, even when distractions, doubts, and unexpected pressures attempt to pull you away? How do you maintain that alignment so that the momentum you gain in the morning carries you through every hour, every interaction, and every decision? That is the doorway to the next revelation, and it is where your true breakthrough begins. Have you ever asked yourself what separates those who live a life of impact from those who simply drift through the hours of their day? It is not chance, it is not circumstance, and it is not luck. It is the intentional decision to live in alignment with purpose, to begin each day with clarity, prayer, and connection to the divine. The moment you choose to make your morning a sacred time, you are not just starting a day, you are shaping your destiny. Every word spoken, every thought focused, every declaration made in those early hours has the power to determine the outcome of your day, the quality of your relationships, and the opportunities that will come your way. Think about this. How many mornings have been wasted by rushing, by worry, by distraction, without ever pausing to invite God's presence into your life? Yet, when you rise with intention, when you center your heart, mind, and spirit in prayer, something miraculous happens. The ordinary becomes extraordinary, the impossible becomes possible, and the challenges that once seemed overwhelming begin to dissolve. Your steps are guided, your mind is sharpened, and your spirit is strengthened. You begin to operate in a level of clarity, favor, and insight that is unmistakably divine. And here is the truth. Living a life aligned with purpose is not about doing more. It is about doing right. It is about starting your day in a way that sets the tone for every hour, every decision, and every encounter. When you commit to inviting God's presence into your morning, you are setting a foundation that no circumstance can shake, no problem can overturn, and no distraction can derail. Your energy, your focus, and your influence are elevated because you have chosen to operate from a place of divine alignment. Consider this: the way you start your day determines not just how the day unfolds, but how your life unfolds. When you rise with prayer, clarity, and intention, you are stepping into a rhythm of favor, insight, and strategic advantage that others may never understand. You are walking in a power that influences your decisions, your relationships, and your opportunities. You are not merely reacting to life. You are responding with purpose, confidence, and authority. So now, the question remains, will you continue to drift through the hours of your day? Or will you rise each morning with intention, with prayer, and with alignment to the divine? Will you allow every moment to be shaped by circumstance? Or will you shape your day, your destiny, and your life by the decisions you make at dawn? The choice is yours. Step into your day with purpose, walk in clarity, speak life over every moment, and remember, today is not just another day. It is your opportunity to live in favor, in power, and in divine alignment.